Assalamu alaikum brothers and sisters. So inshallah I'll be showing you guys the thing that I'll be reading in this video for you to have a visual to see what is that I'm talking about. Before we talk about this topic, the coming of the Mahdi, his arrival that we do on this channel on a regular basis, I want you to consider subscribing because we do talk a lot about the coming of the Mahdi, the Dajjal, the Ya'juj and Ma'juj from what we see around us. When we talk about these topics, we do not talk about these topics based on our predictions, our personal opinion. We do not talk about those things based on how we feel things will happen. We talk about those things, number one, from the Sunnah and the Quran and Sunnah, and number two is from scientific evidence and also what is happening in the world. We try to relate those things, try to marry those things together so that we have a solid and very firm understanding of what is going on. The first thing that I really want to share with you is about the conquest of Jerusalem. Rasulullah SAW, he said, count 6 things before the day of judgment. One of the things that he said to count, Awfi radiallahu anhu, he narrated this hadith. I believe this is in Sahih al-Bukhari and Muslim, both sources. One of the things that he said to count is the conquest of Jerusalem. That prediction, that prophecy I should say, came true when Umar bin al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, he conquest Jerusalem in the 16th AH. And the second time that the Muslims conquered the land, Jerusalem was after more than 500 years when Ayyubi they conquered Jerusalem. They conquered Jerusalem with the Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi. So these are the two incidents. These are the two times when the Muslims they were able to conquest Jerusalem. And there will be one more time, very important, there will be another time when the believers will conquer Jerusalem. It will happen again. And the hadith was very clear. It says that the Prophet ﷺ said, when that will happen, when the Muslims will conquer Jerusalem, the trees, the walls, the bricks, like objects that that normally do not, the objects that do not speak on that day, when the Muslims will conquer Jerusalem one more time, on that day, these objects, the trees, the leaves, these inanimate objects, they will speak out and they will point the Muslims that behind me is a Jew, so and kill him. So this is the prophecy. Inshallah, this is what the Prophet has mentioned. So inshallah, we'll see how it goes. But obviously, this is something I wanted to share with you because this is very, very important. But the real reason I really want to make this video is about something else. It's not even the conquest of Jerusalem by the Muslims. The reason I want to make this video is because of this news. Now, this is very scary, very, very scary. Wallahi, as believers, we need to be more aware of what is happening, and we need to keep up with the information that are being presented to us. As believers, we need to keep our eyes open, because remember this news that I'll be reading to you in a second. Remember that the Dajjal, when he will come, he will be all prepared. He will be good to go. He's ready day one for his job in his office. He will be ready day one. He will not waste anyone's time. He will not waste his time on earth. As we know, he will be here for 40 days. So we are being prepared for his coming. It is too late for believers to be prepared when he is here. That means the believers at that time, they were not ready for his coming, and it will be too late, and they will most likely fall into his fitna. Scientists, this is what the news I want to share with you. Scientists are keeping a close eye on a growing dent in Earth's magnetic field over a swath of the Atlantic Ocean that stretches from South Africa westward into Brazil. What does it mean? They are keeping an eye, the scientists. There is a dent in Earth's magnetic field that stretches from Africa all the way to Brazil. And it says, in this zone known as the South Atlantic anomaly, the magnetic field, the invisible shield that protects the planet from radiation and charged particles from the sun, is weaker than normal. It means when there will be a solar storm, when the sun will have a spitting out of its radiation, and there is a storm happening in that part of the sun, those those radiations will come and hit, those particles will come and hit us. But the good news is that even though the dent is weaker, means it is supposed to have like a solid foundation, a solid formation, but because it is weaker, the radiation from the sun would find it very easy to come on Earth and attack us. The good news is that the scientists are saying that this phenomenon will not affect our existence. Rather, it will destroy all the satellites, communications that we have. Those things will be affected by it. Now, why this is scary? Why I'm mentioning this? It is because, for a very simple reason, dear brothers and sisters, is that the nature, the environment, the solar system, the galaxies, the stars, everything, even the asteroids, everything that we see in the universe, if you take a look at recent events, I at least found they're acting in a very, very different way. There are strange objects coming towards our Earth. For example, a few days ago there was an asteroid that was supposed to be coming on our path, and it will just swoop by the Earth atmosphere instead of hitting the Earth directly. It will just swoop out from the Earth's magnetic field. But the point here is that these things are happening on a regular basis. So every now and then we see something is happening, and this is scary because we know that the weather pattern will change. We know that rain will be withheld. We will see extreme cold, extreme hot. Where I live in, dear brothers and sisters, I have not seen extreme weather in my life the way I have seen in the past 1 or 2 years. It's just insane. And wherever you are, you may have also seen the weather is acting up. It is acting up in a way it did not in the past. These are very, very confusing time. Not only what is happening on Earth, but also what is happening outside. It says that those particles coming from the sun can wreak havoc on satellite instrumentation. So it's good to track the South Atlantic anomaly, and especially its changing shape. That's what the scientists are saying. Very scary. Scientists have known about the weak spot in Earth's magnetic field for several decades. But new research, this is important, but new research suggests that the South Atlantic anomaly is growing. It's growing. There's something opening up. Spreading further west toward the Pacific Ocean and is further weakening. Again, why I want to share this news with you is because there is something happening, something is changing with the global warming thing going on, with now this magnetic field becoming weaker, and there is a probability that in the future we might see some dramatic changes in the behavior of the sun and how it relates with us, with Earth. So dear brothers and sisters, things are looking a little bit confusing this time, and as I said, the environment, the weather, climate change, global warming, these things are just making things even much more confusing for a lot of people. Even scientists these days, they are scrambling to find more data to understand what is happening in reality, but a lot of the things cannot be explained until you understand the end of time, the day of judgment. Wallahi, you can do all the research, you can have all the technology. If you do not believe in the day of judgment, a lot of things will not make sense to you, and these things will become more confusing to many scientists and obviously the human being. Again, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, like this video if you did, share this video, and I'll see you soon again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.